You're listening to Cancer Convos with Brady and Stacy.
And welcome to another edition of Cancer Convos with Brady and Stacy, sponsored by Chelsea Smith Cosmetics and the Bismarck Cancer Center. I'm Bob Brady.
I'm Stacy Sturm.
And our guest today is the wife of a former friend, a good friend from way back when, Bill Ewinger, who listened to our other show. What is it?
It was Getting Over the Hump with Brady and Stacy.
Yeah.
We did it on Wednesday nights. Yep.
Yes.
The Humpin' Show with Brady and Stacy. That's a different show.
And Bill would tune in and he'd have comments, and it was just awesome. I knew Bill through baseball, through Streetsboro Junior Baseball back in Ohio. He came on, I want to say in 2015, and helped out with some assistance with the president. And then after that president left, him and I kind of took the reins and ran the thing. Bill, unfortunately, passed away. When did he pass away, Lisa?
In 2021.
2021. And Lisa Todaro is his wife, and we're going to chat with her today about, Bill was amazing and Bill was awesome, but how quick that happened to Bill. Like it was a quick thing. So Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi, Lisa.
Nice
Yeah.
to be here. Nice to be here.
Yes. So tell us about Bill. Like what the cancer specifically. We'll get into what he did in life, but what happened and how did it happen and how fast it came?
It kind of started like right after the holidays in 2021. And he started just having irregularities with his bowels and just not feeling well. And he was always like, I just don't feel great. And I'm like, go to the doctor. So he went to the doctor, and his doctor told him to keep a food journal of what he ate to see what happened. Well, he wasn't very good at keeping journals, but I'm sure he kept one in his mind. And nothing really changed until about June of 2019. Sorry. That's when he was diagnosed, in June of 2019, because he just had so much pressure in his stomach. He couldn't even bend over. And Bill had a very high pain threshold. So he was just like, when he's telling me, I feel horrible, he called up his sister, who had just visited the doctor for diverticulosis. And she was like, they said, go to the ER. So he went, and they did a CAT scan on him, and he had one 2 years prior, and there was nothing. And then this one was in 2019, and they said that you're fully obstructed in your bowels, and we're pretty sure it's cancer. And we were like, wow.
That escalated quickly. You're like, was
life-changing.
Yeah, you were thinking maybe it was diverticulitis or ulcerative colitis or something. Yeah.
Yep. And I remember asking the ER doctor, I said, be honest with me, what kind of cancer is this? Is this a curable cancer? And he was like, this is probably one of the most common ones that we see coming into the ER. And it just all depends on where it's staged. And unfortunately, when Bill was diagnosed, it was stage 4. It had started to spread to his liver from the colon. And he had some lung spots too, but those eventually came a little bit later. So
that's crazy. So he just stage 4, out of over just a couple of years.
Yeah, over a couple months, not even. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And it was just very much undetected. And in hindsight, had he probably been more aggressive with seeking medical expertise earlier, or, just staying on the doctor and being like, this isn't working, I'm still feeling this way, he might have caught it earlier, but I don't know. When I look back at the pictures of things that I've seen, throughout his whole experience, through his surgery and everything, I'm just like, how does this get missed?
Well, yeah, when he went in, did they do any tests, or did they just tell him to journal right away, or did they actually run a bunch of tests?
They just told him to journal. Yep.
What? They didn't
They never sent him for a colonoscopy or anything.
Oh.
Yep. So he was definitely, when he first had this pain, or he went to the ER for this pain in June, that was when they tried to do a colonoscopy, and they couldn't because he was totally blocked. So that's why they did surgery instead.
So that's what I say. I say it again. I'll say it every time I talk to somebody. Medicine is a practice. They're practicing medicine so that you're like their guinea pig. And even though they may have seen that at least 1,000 times, like this is the most common one you get, there's always something that could be different. And it just sucks.
It does.
So after the diagnosis, then what happened?
Then he started chemo, and we started that, I think, in about July of 2019. And his treatment course was going to be about 12 treatments of FOLFOX. And as soon as you start getting your cold sensation or in your numbness in hands and fingers and things like that. And he was like determined to do all 12. But then an opportunity presented itself where he was able to go see the liver surgeon. And for some funny reason, like oncologists and surgeons don't like talk much. I don't know. But the liver surgeon was all for, we'll have this surgery to take out a portion of your liver that has the nodes on it. And then the oncologist was like, well, I'm not sure if this is a great time. So he did 6 treatments of the FOLFOX. They decided that, yes, he could go have a liver resection. And at the same time, he had a colostomy bag from the first surgery that they would reverse that colostomy bag. So it was supposed to be a long procedure. It was like 8 hours. And I think through the first 4, they did the reversal of the colostomy bag. And then they came out to tell me that while he was in surgery, his blood pressure had dropped to a low level, and they didn't think that they could go on any further in the surgery. So he never ended up having the liver resection, which led to then, more growth in the liver.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I remember this was all yesterday. Like I remember him telling me all this and what he was going through, and that we'd have our our chats and talks, and he would go. I think didn't he go to was it Virginia or Maryland? He went to like a superstar doctor down there for another test.
He did. We looked all over. I wanted to have him go out to California, City of Hope. There was Dr. Fong out there who does amazing things with colon cancer patients right now. There's just many different doctors. But it was all during COVID. Obviously, you couldn't go very many places. And if you did, you're thought to be taking, your life into your hands that way. And we spent our whole COVID quarantine, in the house trying to protect him from getting COVID. So it was very rare that, he left the house. He worked from home. He stayed here all the time. And if he was outside, period, but not around people. So, we did look at different options. He did end up going to the National Institute of Health for a trial. And the trial was very, very difficult. In fact, it was worse than any chemo that he had. He just was rocked to the core.
Yeah.
He tolerated the chemo very well. Whatever chemo he was on, he was tired. He was not eating, but he was living. He could still do things. But when he went on a trial at the National Institute of Health, I just remember him coming home and he slept for 4 days. And I was like, this has never happened before. What's going on? And he's just like, I don't know. And, I was like, if this is how you're going to live on this trial, this is probably not the right thing for you, because you're not living here. You're like in bed all the time. But yet he wanted to go forward and go on to the next treatment. And we went to Washington together, and they took one look at him and they were like, no, this is not, how you want to continue. And I think that's when he first realized that he was not going to make it. And he was really, that's the first time that he got really depressed about having cancer. He was so positive all the way through, and just, I'm going to do this. I'm going to beat this. And that was 2 years of doing that. And the trial was in May of 2021. And that's when he just started to lose the fight.
Now you guys have kids too, right, Lisa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when this is going on, what are you talking to your kids about? How are your kids handling it?
we chose not to tell them about the cancer until it was really bad and we couldn't. Um, it was, he was always, like I said, he was always very positive about it. He wanted them to know that he was working really hard to fight the cancer. And he didn't want them to be scared or anything like that. And so finally, I don't know, it was July when he was in the hospital, and there was no turning back. It was like they couldn't find a reason for, I couldn't find a way for him to keep going. That's when he finally broke down and he told them. I'm sure they had their suspicions all along, but he never came out and said anything. We never used the word death. We never used the word cancer. It was always he was sick. And he told them, and it broke his heart, broke my heart. But he did, and he died pretty much 2 months later.
So sorry, Lisa. That's just, oh, that's so hard. So hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you're so powerless. That's the thing. That's the worst thing, is you're just so powerless. There's really nothing that you can do.
Right.
And that's the thing, I think, when you talk about going on these trials, is that, you're trying to find answers because you want to get it fixed. And, you from the get-go said that when they found this is the most curable one we have, and this is the easiest one to do, or whatever. And you're thinking, well, if that's in the back of your mind, well, what can I do to get it done? And that's why you do all these things. You do all your own research. And that's where Stacy and I started this podcast, is that one of the reasons is because there's a whole lot of help out there for you. Like, you're kind of on your own island doing your own thing. And you can talk to doctors, you get the best surgeons in the world, but they don't know either. And it's it just sucks. It just sucks.
It does.
Yeah. I mean, people that get diagnosed with like terminal cancer make it. And people that are like, oh no, this is going to be a breeze, they end up losing the battle. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just, man, it's all just a gamble. It's so hard. And I'm sure, like, I do sympathize with doctors and oncologists and the people that have to work with it, because everybody handles treatment so different and everything is so different. And cancer is so unpredictable still.
Yes, definitely. And there's so much to learn about it. And I felt like, I probably had my medical degree as I was going through it with him too. I just did a ton of research on things, and I probably knew more than he did because he never wanted me to tell him what I knew. Just because, I knew more than he wanted to know. And he felt that if I told him things, he would understand, he would lose the fight. He would lose that positivity going forward.
Yeah, he was. He still is. He's still a ray of sunshine. Like, Bill was amazing. And you move forward, and now you have a golf tournament coming up. Like, isn't this the second or third annual one?
This is the second one. Yep, in August.
Yeah.
Yeah. We started a foundation after he passed away. His sister and his brother-in-law and I started the Bill Flounder Eulinger Live More Tomorrows Foundation. And our golf outing is the only event that we do each year, but we use the money from the golf outing to fund a scholarship for the kids' college accounts. And we also use it to donate to other charities that Bill would have enjoyed. So we have a scholarship in his name for a fraternity brother at the Sigma Nu fraternity in Akron. We donated some money to the art therapy department at the Cleveland Clinic because before he passed away, we made like a sculpture of all of our hands together so that we would have a reminder of him. So we wanted other people to be able to do that too. And then we're also donating money to an organization called One Day to Remember. And it's out of Pittsburgh. And we had tried to start an organization similar to this here in Cleveland, but nobody was able to fully help us with it. And having other jobs, we couldn't focus on that either. So, but what they do is they take cancer families and they grant them like one day to remember, like going to a Guardians game or or going to an amusement park, and they pay for everything for that day so that your family can make memories. And, we were always about making memories and doing fun things together as a family. So we wanted to do something like that. So we're going to help other people that way too.
So how can people? What's the website? There's a way to get in touch.
To get in touch with us.
Yep.
We have
like maybe they can't make it, but they just want to, like, we have people
donate.
listening all over the country, but they still want to donate. Is there a way they can help out?
Sure. They can send, we have a Facebook page. It's the Bill Flounder, You Linger, Live More Tomorrows Foundation. Or you could email us at billyoulingerfoundation@gmail.com, and we could send you more information. And there is the golf outing link is posted on our website too, but I could give it to you also. But you can donate there too. Yes, absolutely.
We'll get all the details and put it on our Facebook page, and have it connected and linked too. So the kids are still busy. I know we talked about this before we went on the show. Like you're still running around ragged and doing your thing. How are you doing? How are you getting by?
I'm doing okay. It's lonely not having like another adult to talk to, but it's good. It's okay. We're making it. It is definitely, different, but the kids keep me busy, and that's what I'm here for. If I didn't have them, there wouldn't be much to keep going for. So they keep me very busy. Emma is going to be 12, and she does dance and theater, and she's constantly busy. Will's playing baseball, and he's got a game every other night and tournaments every weekend. It's like we go from one thing to the other, and that's how we live. We live out of our car, basically.
Yeah. They're at that age now where it's constant go. When people are like, hey, how hard was it when your kid wanted to get their license? I'm like, not hard at all.
Yeah.
Tired of driving them around. Tired of driving them around. Yep. Yeah. So after everything happened, did the kids finally start asking questions, or have they talked about it since, like ask questions about everything that you guys went through?
Yeah, they have not. I don't know. They're very quiet about things. Mm-hmm. They keep things to themselves. So they don't like share a whole lot. They haven't asked, no.
Yeah.
They don't ask questions. But yeah, I think they're resilient. They're doing things. They miss their dad, absolutely.
Yeah, I see on Facebook you guys do a lot of stuff. Like you guys get out and do things, and not just the baseball and theater stuff, but you guys do on trips and you do stuff, and it's just it's good to see. It is. It's good. It's healthy, yeah. I think.
I think that I've decided that, after living through being a caregiver and experiencing the death of somebody, I'm like, I have to live each day as I can, as much as I can at this point, which is what everybody should do. You can't just stay home and do nothing. You have to live. And I think that Bill would have wanted us to be living and doing things. He enjoyed doing things with us. So I don't think that there's any reason why we shouldn't, and everybody should. That's how you live. You make memories, and that's what our goal is to make memories these days.
Is that one piece of advice you might have for families going through this right now? Is that what you would probably tell them if they're going through the same thing right now?
Yep. I tell that too. I have I belong to a group, a Facebook group called Colon Town, and there's a lot of members of people who are caregivers in there who are going through colon cancer right now. There's groups where people who are widows, and that's like the one thing that we always say: go make the memories, and do things with your family. That's what while they're there, because there's plenty of time to grieve after they're gone. But make the memories while you're still alive. That's what you have to do. Absolutely.
Lisa, we thank you for joining us today. I loved Bill. He was a good friend, and I miss him. Like I know I reached out to you that I think the day after or whatever. I was just like shocked.
Yep.
And I know I talked to him one time when he was in the hospital toward the end, and it's different, and I'm not his wife, or not as close as his family, but I felt like it, like I felt like a brother to him, but it was just like so
Absolutely.
different. It just feels different when you're talking to somebody, and it's so
Yeah.
hard to compartmentalize what you're feeling, and it's the
Right.
end, and just like, what do you do? What do
And
you
I
do?
never thought he would do that. I mean, I never thought he would, like, when it came to the very end, I never thought he would say, I'm done. But he
Yeah.
did. He's like, I'm done. I'm good. I'm at peace with the decision, and I just want to die.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Ugh. Well,
Hmm.
Lisa, thank you again. I do appreciate this. And if you need anything, please reach out. We're here for you. And we'll get all the info about the golf stuff and all the foundations, which are amazing, on our websites and our socials, and help you out that way too.
Awesome. That'd be great. Thank
All
you.
right, Lisa. Hey, thank
Thanks
you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you, guys.
We thank Lisa for joining us today. That was some tough stuff. Bill was an amazing friend and a good guy, and that's a tough one.
Yeah, that is, oh, my heart breaks for her. And it's especially when you have kids. I know that's one of the hardest things you have to go through is you don't just worry about yourself and the person you love, but you worry about the kids too. And that's, ugh,
And that's
it's
where
tough.
like a support system helps, and that's
Mhm.
where some sort of therapy helps to get through it. Just talking to somebody that may have been through it before, having that system. But it's tough too, because I was thinking that since that happened, they may not have had any time to reflect about anything. They just go on the go all the time, and
Yeah.
just don't think about it. Um, but colon cancer, for you should start getting your screenings beginning at the age of 45, according to the CDC. The key to preventing colorectal cancer and finding it early, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force recommends that adults age 45 to 75 be screened for colorectal cancer regularly. There you go.
And I know that they're trying to get better with testing on that because it is such a popular
Yeah.
cancer. But now they have like the Cologuard if you're not near a hospital and you can't get screened. It's what I understand, not the most reliable test, but
Yeah.
at least it's better than nothing, I
Yeah.
guess, if you're not going to be able to go to the hospital.
I have one of those boxes in my bedroom right now
Do you
for the
really?
Cologuard. Yes, I haven't done it yet, and I'm just a big procrastinator, and I should. I'm just a big idiot. Um, but I think it's the fact that I have to go to the bathroom and then take my duty out and put it in a bag to send it somewhere else in a box. Like, that's just weird to me. Um, but I'd also,
But
me
you
being a
do it
guy,
for your dog. You would collect it
yes,
for
yeah,
your
yeah,
dog with
yeah, just my
no
dog, yeah,
issue.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also don't want to go there and get the probe either. So I don't. I'll have to do that. Yeah.
I have a is colonoscopy. I have a colonoscopy chemo break. I have a colonoscopy every year. And
Okay.
yeah,
I
it's because one of those things like when you are diagnosed with cancer, that's something
mm,
they said they want to check you super close. And that's one of the areas that they want to check you super close. Yeah.
yeah, I'll be 52 this month, and I have never gotten one. And that's
Oh, what?
well, that's the thing. Like, so
Here's the
they
thing.
tell.
You don't remember it. You don't know what's going on. It's not like you're awake for
Well,
it. It's not like
I
it's you just
I'll just do the
they give you a little nappy nap and you wake
I'll
up and
just
you're good.
I'll just do the thing. See what that does. I feel like
Just collect your poop.
yeah, I feel like Ronald Miller in Can't Buy Me Love. You shit on my house. Um, yeah, I didn't want to do that. Um,
Oh.
all right, so we'll end it there on that note
On
on
that
the old
note,
Ronald McDonald Miller.
yeah,
Cancer Convo is sponsored by Chelsea Smith Cosmetics and Bismarck Cancer Center. If you want to sponsor the show, it's easy. It's probably the most listened to show on all the Spotify's and everything. I know it. I mean,
I'm
roughly.
sure. Well, it's
Yeah.
crazy. When I check our stats, and because whenever I go talk to potential sponsors, I check our
Yeah.
stats. And I think our first show we had like 22, 21. I sent you a copy. We had like 2,100 listeners on air. And then we had another 2,000 that watched it later on Facebook. And we had a couple hundred that I watched it on Spotify. But now I think the last episode I checked, we have over 10,000 listeners between the radio station and Spotify and so we went from about 6,000 total to I think it was almost 11,000.
Wow.
So we've
We're
almost
doing
doubled.
good things. Yeah,
Hopefully.
you can
Fingers
thank us
crossed.
later.
Yeah.
We're not modest at all.
No.
Yeah, so if you want to sponsor the show and get on that bandwagon, we're here for you. We try to help you out. Again, the moral of the story is that cancer is a word, not a sentence. And we do thank Lisa Todaro for chatting today about Bill and everything. And he lives on, and he lives on with the golf stuff and everything, and the scholarships. We'll post that info on our sites and socials as well, so you have that. Have a great week.